The original Crysis was applauded for its sandbox-style approach to the FPS genre, and it struck a chord with PC gamers looking for an excellent shooter. And it was pretty. Very pretty. However, some people felt that its gameplay was a little too slow-paced and cerebral. Crysis Warhead is the answer to that criticism. Simply put, Crysis Warhead is the FPS equivalent of a summer action movie. There are still large amounts of freedom as to how you approach a situation, but everything is intensified. The game takes place on the other side of the original Crysis Island, and the story runs concurrently with the first game's story. The difference is that you now play as British Sergeant Michael Sykes, who is aptly named Psycho. This character's reckless abandon combined with third-person cutscenes creates a much more cinematic game than its predecessor. The gameplay is the same as ever. You rely on the nanosuit to give you superhuman abilities and terrorize soldiers in a Predator-like fashion. However, the game has a much bigger focus on large open battles now. There is much less of a lull between fights, and now some battles even combine with other battles to create a fast-paced game of shoot, move, and cover. The aliens are even tougher than they were in Crysis, so you're encouraged to throw everything you have at them. There's a new submachine gun, anti-tank mines, and my favorite, a 6-shot grenade launcher. The single-player game lasted about 5 hours for me, which is not terrible since this game retails for $20 less than Crysis. However, the much-improved multiplayer component called Crysis Wars makes Warhead an even better deal. The new maps create a much more traditional team deathmatch experience. All the crazy super-powered ninja-like things that you can do in the single-player also imply a multiplayer. There is sadly only one vehicle map, but what they have is a blast to play. Hopefully Crytek will deliver on their promise to add more maps. By now there's probably one last question on your mind, a question that has always gone with Crysis. Will it melt my computer? Well, you don't have to be afraid because Warhead actually looks better than Crysis and it runs better. The engine has been better optimized, there's more definition to the terrain, and lighting and particle effects have gotten big boosts. You would expect these improvements to take a bigger hit on performance. After all, the first Crysis is still one of the best looking games out there, but there are still great results on my high-end PC, a slightly older PC with a 8000 GTS, and the much vaulted $700 Crysis PC that Crytek and EA have been touting. I was playing on the highest setting and a high resolution for each instance, and you'll get even better results if you scale the settings down slightly. The game will look great either way. Warhead is a more coherent game than the original Crysis. The single-player campaign is tight, and the multiplayer finally utilizes the series' strengths. This is not just a tech demo, the gameplay is intelligent, you are rewarded for experimenting, and almost every complaint about Crysis has been addressed. In other words, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better PC shooter this year. For the full written review, shoot over to IGN.com.